All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions from Mike.
Mike, how you feeling right now?
Hi, Mark. I'm doing good. It's obviously been a bit of a process over the last year or so, and given what happened last year, if you'd told me what was going to happen again, and I don't know what I would have done, but everything's going really well so far, and thankful to have a very good support system around me, and a lot of good teammates, a lot of good training staff to rely on, and we're making progress every day, and it's been fun to see.
Mike, when we talked to you the last time, it was only, I think, a couple of weeks before it happened again, and you were really optimistic and upbeat then at the time. Had you any inkling at all that things were going to go awry, or were you as shocked as we were to hear that, when it happened, were you as shocked that as we were to hear that it happened?
I was probably more shocked.
Yeah.
In the realm of everything, when it happens, obviously when you go for a clean out and you go for little things, obviously there was, it's always a possibility. The only thing was nobody had ever really seen that happen that far in a rehab process, especially because we'd gotten through so many hurdles. I pitched in a spring training game. It's not like, we were fresh in the rehab process and it can happen. I was walking in. I wasn't even really walking yet. I was kind of just, hobbling along, putting some pressure into the ground and getting the heel up. And about 10 feet from the entryway door here at Truist, it went bang. And, I don't think any of us really believed it. I could still kind of move my foot up and down a little bit. And we were hopeful that it was giant clump of scar tissue, but that wasn't the case. It floored me. That moment was without a doubt one of the hardest moments of my life, and having to make a decision how you're going to handle that and go from there was pretty heavy. And like I said, thankful for a good support system and getting me through that time, because it's going to be a time I look back to gain some strength from and go from there.
And that was literally the day you were out of the boot, right? First day?
Yep. Yeah. I'd been making strength progress every day. I got to the point where I think even the day before, I basically found that we could do, standing calf raises. Felt as good as it felt, honestly better than it felt the entire process. Obviously something kind of just went wrong. We don't know. We won't know why. We probably will never know why. Something early along in the process that it just didn't do well with something. Our guess is that it didn't do well with the sutures that were in there. That's why we used a different type. And Dr. Anderson and his entire staff and his network of surgeons, they went over it. I don't know how many times to make sure that this time is going to be different.
Mike, I think my natural reaction would have been anger. I don't want to say what your feeling was, but if you were angry or whatever that reaction was, how long did that last?
I don't know if it was exactly anger, because immediately, you look for reasons as to why that could have happened. But I feel like the anger would have been somewhere else if it was, if there was blame to be put anywhere, and there's not. There's no sense in being angry at something that, there's just no changing. It was probably just a sense of, failure, to be honest with you. We all fail in life in this industry. Failure is just part of this game. But when you go through a process like that and failure is not on your mind, and you go, 9 months through a rehab process and essentially doesn't work, you feel like you failed, and immediately you're going back and, what could I do differently? What did I do wrong? And you find out that maybe you didn't do anything wrong. You just couldn't have changed it. So it was probably a sense of, said, failure, and having to basically restart the process and feel like in some ways, physically, at least the last 9 months was kind of a waste. That was probably the worst part of it. And getting over that and learning that I learned a lot about myself. I got to learn a lot of other things while I was down the first time. And again, this process is not something I'd wish on somebody, but I know I'll be stronger from it. So looking forward to that day when I can look back and draw strength from this entire process.
What did Dr. Anderson tell you to kind of reassure you that, hey, this isn't normal, and to assure you that it wouldn't happen again, that we can fix this thing? And because obviously you had confidence in him, you went back to him.
Yeah, definitely. There wasn't anything that he would have done differently the first time. Anybody for that matter, it didn't matter. This anytime you go in and you repair something, it doesn't make it, it's never a sure thing. And sometimes weird things happen. Like we said, our hunch is that I had a reaction to the sutures, and we used a different type of suture this time. We used both absorbable and permanent. They were the old kind that, they're tried and tested. They're a little thicker. That's why they don't use them now. But, it's stuff that's very dependable. And, they also took a hamstring graft and basically weaved that into my Achilles tendon to make sure it was just that much stronger. So, if anything, it'll be stronger than most ever will be. That's going to be the goal, at least. And so far along, it looks better than it did the first time. And that was kind of the first thing, is when we got the cast off, everybody kind of looked at it and said, whoa, it just looks better. So it's almost reassurance that something did go wrong with the way I handled it the first time around that I couldn't have changed. Because right out of the cast in the first surgery, it was thick. It never really got rid of the inflammation, and I wouldn't have known, because that was my first surgery. It's you say, yeah, it doesn't feel 100%, but someone tell you, oh yeah, you're 3 months out. It's not supposed to. So, it's really looking up from here, and I think the farther we get into this, the more we realize that this time is different, and we're excited to see where that goes.
Like, I know you don't want to put a specific timetable on it, maybe even reveal what your goal is, but can you give us a sense of what you hope next summer looks like for you?
Yeah, I hope it is playing baseball. I think obviously this time around, the thing we're gonna have to do really differently is strengthen to the point where you are pretty well even on both sides, as opposed to trying to match it up. So obviously what we did the first time wasn't a problem, because I don't think we would have done it any differently. We basically saw a trend of how things were going, and we decided to match things up with throwing program, running progression, and say, you're going to keep gaining strength. But obviously at a certain point, it just didn't want to take any more load. So that's when we ended up, in spring training, and then, having to go get the clean out and try and figure some things out, because I just kind of stopped making those steps forward. So this time around, we're going to make sure, we absolutely master every step of the strengthening process, and really not worry about, getting off the mound and pitching until I'm comfortable just being an athlete again, just running, completely through the process before we get on to that kind of stuff, because, I'm going to need some time to shake off some rust. You don't move quickly for 2 years of your life. You're going to have to kind of learn how to be an athlete again quickly. And I don't think it'll take long, but it'll be a matter of getting there first, and then going through and building up to be a pitcher again. So we're still doing little things. I'm still doing arm care and all that kind of stuff, and throwing on one knee, and making sure everything stays where it should be to be ready, so that when that time comes, it's we jump right into it, and it goes quickly.
Have they, did they hook you up with anybody, or tell you any examples of guys who have gone through this twice? Could they refer you to anybody or examples?
Yeah. The closest one obviously is Jake Berger with the White Sox. Not too many people knew it. I mean, he did it twice in 2018, and he re-ruptured obviously a little closer in the process. I think it was around the 3-month mark.
Mhm.
But I got a really good text from him. I think it was right after I'd had the surgery or just about right around his call up, to be honest with you. He sent a nice message and what he went through, and I'll be leaning on him for sure throughout this process. And, that there's obviously pretty minimal because it just doesn't happen all that much, but those that do happen, it doesn't really change anything. It's just a matter of, more time needed to strengthen. And that's going to be the big thing. But very lucky again to be able to lean on Dr. Anderson's staff in Green Bay as well. They're going to be huge in this process, and we're going to be there probably every 4 to 6 weeks, getting reevaluated, getting testing going along with what they have going. And, they're specialists. They've done it day in, day out for, I don't know how many years. So leaning on them and making sure, again, we just earn every step and go from there.
Mike, who's the one person you've leaned on the most that's helped you through this darkest time, especially at the beginning, that was just there for you each and every day?
My dad, obviously. He's been there through a lot darker times, and these are things that you go through. You don't expect to go through a career in sports without some sort of major injury. You just, like I said earlier, the goal is to get through it and move on, not have to repeat it. He's been huge through everything, and he was just down here for a couple of weeks helping me get around, and I can ditch the crutches here in a couple of weeks, or even probably just a week. So that'll be nice. I'll be a little more functional then. But to be honest with you, and I got a chance to talk to him. I got a really good text and conversation with Alex Anthopoulos. Right after I did it, I talked to him on the phone, probably right after we talked to the surgeon and confirmed that I had re-ruptured, and, just some reassurances that he believed in me. And that's pretty huge coming from somebody like that. And, I really appreciated that. So I made sure to let him know. And, that's probably, if anybody sent me a text, that was the one that, perked me up the most. And, very thankful for that too.
And Snit was asked what kind of advice he would give you about your opportunity tonight in the booth. He said, use simple words with your co-broadcasters. What's your philosophy? How much are you looking forward to having to tonight?
I'm sure that's a dig on Jeff. But yeah,
Yes.
it's going to be a lot of fun. I see Chip just joined here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Be careful.
I was going to, I wanted to be up there and talk baseball again. I can't be in the dugout right now because, if the foul ball comes flying in there or something, I can't get out of the way. That'd be kind of an ugly situation. So I wanted an opportunity to talk baseball, and, I'm sitting at home watching them talk on TV, and I said, why can't I be part of this? So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun with those guys, and be a good experience. That's for sure.
Good luck, and just don't come for my job.
Any last ones from Mike, guys? All right. Thanks, Mike. See everybody after the game.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.